Hey everybody, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel. This is Maria Reacts. My name is Dion. Thank you so much for coming back. One of the things that I like to do is watch the viewpoint of other countries regarding what's going on in America, politically, culturally, all that kind of stuff. So I like to watch Sky News Australia, and I wanted you all to see this video with me. Um, I'm going to get it on screen real quick. But this is about, they call it lefties losing it. Just check this out.
Good evening and welcome to a program that's devoted entirely to lefties losing it. We shall get to some Kamala action soon, but first the Democrats have a significant problem with weapon-grade craziness in their side. A sizable portion of their voters believe insane conspiracy theories, from the Russian collusion hoax to the Fine People hoax to the assassination attempt truthers.
False flag.
Yeah, false flag.
Somebody died and 2 people injured. What do you think about that?
Now, this is really crazy. It took, I think, less than a day before the media started coming out, and people all over social media as well, saying that Donald Trump faked his own assassination attempt. It's so ridiculous. They give this man way more credit than he deserves, because, come on now. Watch this. Watch these people's responses.
False flag.
I thought it was magnificently staged. It was professionally done. It almost looked real.
Wait. Staged.
That's it. They kept saying it was staged. You would see that response all in the comment section.
By who?
Oh, by Mr. Trump, of course.
I think this whole thing is staged.
Now, before you say, well, that's just a few wacky people, every political side has them, we are not talking about a teeny tiny minority here. 34% of registered Democrats believe Donald Trump staged his own assassination attempt, according to a recent poll. That's 1 in 3 registered Dems who believe Trump trusted a last millisecond head turn to save his life and had 3 of his supporters shot, 1 of them killed, so he could stage an assassination attempt and get that.
Y'all really think he has those kind of magical capabilities? Come on now.
Golden picture. These people are nuts, and they vote.
So you just thought it was fake?
Of course.
1 person died in the crowd, 2 critically injured. What happened there?
Small price. It wouldn't matter to Trump. Do you think he cares if people die for him to be elected? That doesn't mean anything to Trump.
Now, so you
See how they explain that away? So if he staged it, who do you think is going to allow, if they could pin an unaliving of someone else onto Trump, that would be all they needed. They've been trying to lock him up for over a year. Really? That's what I mean. They give him way too much credit.
you think that they planned from 130 yards away to shoot off the corner of his ear?
And they never shot off the corner of it. That was all done by the people hanging around him.
Was it staged? Probably.
Staged?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Trump maybe staged a fake assassination for support?
And why are these Democrats so crazy? Well, it could be the media they consume.
Why? Why don't we know that much? We know that 3 people were shot. 1 person, unfortunately, was killed at the rally. We don't know where they were sitting or standing relative to him.
First,
We don't know why, for 9 full seconds, Donald Trump was allowed to stand back up during an active shooting, an active shooter situation, yet they allowed him to stand up in the middle of that, crisis and pose for a photo and fist pump the air so he could get the iconic photo. And then they allowed him to stand up again outside of the SUV instead of just shoving him into the SUV. That seems really unusual. What is the actual injury to Donald Trump's ear that's under that bandage? Shouldn't we know that by now? It's weird. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of curiosity about it.
That's his medical business. Y'all want him to come on television and show his ear with the bullet hole in it. Then people were saying, oh, it was shrapnel. Oh, it was a piece of glass from the teleprompter. It wasn't a bullet. You know what? Whatever. The fact of the matter is, someone attempted to unalive a former president of the United States. And it's looking all like they knew about it. They were trying to allow it to go down. I don't trust any of those people that were around him. Until they've been vetted and it's all been figured out, I don't trust any of them. And the two short women, I mean, come on now. Partly his whole upper body, head, everything was left exposed because they were half his height. Oh my goodness. Y'all look crazy. You giving him way too much credit.
You know, in the sort of media world, you know, my profession, it's weird, right? Where are the FOIAs? Why isn't the New York Times like aggressively pursuing his medical records?
Yes, that's true.
Because HIPAA does not permit you to do that. Have you ever heard of HIPAA, Joy? Oh my goodness.
Joy Reid, an anchor on MSNBC. As for lowering the temperature to stop the, reckless rhetoric and lies around Trump, painting him as some sort of a modern-day Hitler who is a threat to democracy, well, that didn't last long. Here is AOC.
Donald Trump is also very old and a racist and a neo-Nazi. But anyways, I'm not even going to talk about Trump right now.
She's not going to talk about him other than calling him a racist neo-Nazi. But I tell you who are not assassination truthers, that's professional baseballers. Here is...
You know what? Check this out. I am going to, right now, let's see. Because, see, I remember when. I remember the days when everybody loved Donald Trump. Oh my gosh.
Our first guest is one of my faves of all time. He's successful, he's got a mean swagger, and he's not afraid to say it like he means it. Give it up for everyone's favorite boardroom billionaire, the one and only Donald Trump.
Now, see, they try to paint him as, well, you know what, never mind that.
Beautiful. Good to see you again.
Nice group. Very nice.
You know you're one of my faves.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I like you too.
Thank you.
A lot.
Congratulations on the success of Celebrity Apprentice.
Thank
It
you.
just got picked up for another season.
Right.
So, you know I love the show. I love Celebrity Apprentice and I love Regular Apprentice.
Right.
But without Regular Apprentice, we would have never gotten to know people like Omarosa
That's
and
true.
Bill Rancic.
That's true.
Are we ever going to go back to Regular?
Well, you know, a lot of people ask that question, and I love it. It became the #1 show on television, and we did discover Omarosa.
Yeah.
You know, the amazing thing about Wendy, you and her were really at it for a
We
while.
were,
I
but-
remember you told me I won't ever tell, but she is
We
sort of
sat
like
next to
friends,
each other at the Sex and the City movie, remember? And that's when we
Yeah.
talked about it. But you know what?
You were not a big fan at one point, but I think you are now.
I'm a woman, and I'm allowed to change my mind.
You
We've
changed it?
made up.
That's very good.
I like Omarosa.
So it is possible that happens. I must tell you, from my standpoint, I sort of love what we're doing. You know, so many of the celebrities, everybody wants to go. We must turn down 5 for everyone we take in terms
Really?
of the celebrity, because it's been so good for the career. You know, the hardest one was first Celebrity Apprentice, because they didn't want to be fired.
Right.
And then with Joan and with the tremendous success of the people, Piers Morgan, you know, everybody that was on, not just the winners, because Trace came in second and he became the biggest country singer.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
Omarosa's never won.
and
So someone became a big country singer from, I guess, from being on his show. But people really liked him back then. I'm going to fast forward a bit. Let's see.
had many cases where I didn't want to fire somebody from an entertainment standpoint,
Yes.
but if I don't do it, it's not going to be the right thing. I have to do the right thing.
I like
and
that.
sometimes, I mean, you know, sometimes I fire people. I would have loved to have kept Dennis Rodman longer.
Yes.
But it was like impossible. If I would have done that, I would have taken tremendous heat. You know, one person that was so popular, and I took a lot of heat for this one, firing Little John. People love Little John. They loved him, and so do I, by the way. I just saw him.
Yeah.
I have to do what's right, and entertainment has to be second. But a lot of times for entertainment, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I think the credibility that I've built up for the show, that's what makes it successful ultimately. But
Yes.
it's hard. It's hard.
The show is addictive. It really is.
So a lot of people really like the show. I never really watched it. I don't know why. I just wasn't into it. Now watch as he goes in. They go into the audience. Watch this. I mean, he's giving out advice. Now, watch. People are not appalled by him or anything. Look at this.
I hit him back.
Listen, up next, everybody, you're going to get free advice from Donald Trump in a special edition of Ask Wendy and the Donald. It is time for a special edition of Ask Wendy and the Donald. So how can we help?
How you doing,
How you
Wendy
doing?
and Mr. Trump?
How are you?
I'm Judy, and I'm married to a wonderful man, but he's a golfaholic.
Oh.
He's very, very good, but
Notice all the black people out in the audience.
I'd like him to spend just a little bit less time on the course and more time with me.
Now, Donald, you're a golfer.
And I'm an expert on this subject.
Okay.
Let him play golf. Tell him I love you.
do.
Does he make a good living?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let him play golf.
He does.
Tell him to enjoy himself. You love him. Don't take him off the golf course, because otherwise he may have to fly the coop. I doubt it, but he may fly the coop. Let him play. Encourage him. Don't do that. I've seen too many wives when I've seen it.
Right.
They say, "Oh, you're playing golf. You're playing golf." Guess what? One day they go home. He's not there.
When they take when you
won't
take
happen.
him out of a habit that he really loves, he might turn on you like a wild dog. But you know what I would suggest? Does he play like at a club where there's a clubhouse?
Yes. Oh,
Can you
yes.
get a cute golf outfit and maybe drive the golf?
I do golf.
All right. Well,
I do.
you might not golf on his level,
Oh,
so
no.
he might not want to play with her. But
You just let him play and tell him to enjoy himself, and he's going to love you even more. I'm telling you.
okay, there you go. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
He's actually a human being. Watch this.
Okay, we've got our next person. Have a seat, Judy.
Thanks, dude.
Now watch the next person that steps up. And watch how he interacts with her.
Judy's still laughing. Judy, take each of our advice and figure something out in between, you know? All right.
How you doing?
How you doing? I like your classy necklace. Did you win that here?
No, I did. Oh, actually, I saw it on the show.
Yeah, we gave
See how laid back the show is?
goes away.
I did. And I was jealous I wasn't here, but I went online and got one.
Okay, good. So go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Trump.
How are you?
I work really long hours, and my boyfriend is starting to think that I may be cheating on him.
Whoa.
How
Are
do-
you? Are you cheating?
I am not, Donald. How do I assure him that when I'm at work, I'm actually doing work and not someone else?
Now, Donald, I'm going to let you answer first. And your wife is a businesswoman, so I'm
Well,
sure
that's
she works
correct.
late sometimes as well.
But I think if he has that in the back of his mind, I mean, you love him that much?
Absolutely.
Can you live without him
No, I cannot.
Because, you
live
know, if
without
he
him.
has that now in the back of his mind,
gonna
that
only
could
get-
be trouble.
Oh,
Only going to
For
get
the
worse.
future, I'm saying.
How long
Okay.
have you been with him?
12 years.
And how old are you?
32.
And why boyfriend? He's not...
Yeah, exactly.
That's another show.
Oh, well, here's what I would suggest. You tell him that you're working late, and he better not, to prove his point, try to roll up at the job and do something embarrassing like where is she, or cruise the parking lot.
Okay.
If he can't take your word for it, then you know what, after 12 years, maybe this is not the guy for you. And if we have to have another show on why it is you want to get married and he hasn't married you, then maybe they...
Look at his left hand. I mean, it's totally innocent.
You need to break up.
And you know what? I'm looking at you. You will have no trouble getting guys.
Okay. We have to, thank you. Have a seat. We have time for one more quick question. Hi, Sam.
He is not. They have so succeeded in the last several years at portraying him like basically dehumanizing the man. Like he doesn't know how to interact around black people. I mean, he was very comfortable. People were just people to him. Now on the show, you know, that's different. That's for entertainment. You know, he talked about having to build up a credibility about the show, I guess to make it believable or whatever. But he was just a normal guy. Let's see where we are here.
Taylor Walls from the Tampa Bay Rays giving the Trump fight fist pump during a game.
Two-base hit for Taylor Walls, and now he's in scoring position.
And here are players from the Cardinals doing the ear hold and fist pump double. Can you imagine these tributes to Trump happening a few years ago? It would be unimaginable. Things have changed. Before we get to the real Kamala, let's have a look at Veep. And this scene is a case of life imitating art.
I'm not leaving. POTUS is leaving. He's not going to run for a second term. I'm going to run.
Yes! I did not see that coming. Lena Meyer, she's on fire.
Boom, let's go to that
I was this close to living on my boat.
And this mashup of Veep Selena Myers and Veep Kamala Harris is, well, it's lefties losing at gold.
Words have many meanings, and sometimes instead of conveying our meaning, they can suggest other meanings.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community.
Well, we are the United States of America because we are united. And we are states.
The significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Whatever we have in store cannot be known. The past was once the future. The future is, I should say, unknown.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right, and that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
Now to more Kamala. Remember when she was finally asked about her failures as the border czar?
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
And don't ever have Kamala
that's a
try to
deflection.
explain international.
I was watching someone earlier who said something that made so much sense. When someone poses a question to you, or they make a statement that is untrue, when you have a good answer, a good comeback, you'll immediately go to that. But if your immediate response is to deflect, then that means whatever they were hitting on was true. It was true. and you couldn't refute it. You didn't have any comebacks that would shut it down. So you tried to switch attention to something else. That's a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Conflicts.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
That's wrong, yes it is. And by the way, she was speaking to adults there. It wasn't some discussion with fourth graders. Here is Kamala talking to some young'uns.
You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your own eyes, I'm telling you.
Poor kids. At least you didn't tell them her, I don't know, pronouns.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
And if you're wondering why she's never won a presidential primary, well, here's a reminder.
Vice President have a point there?
Some things you can, many things you can't.
Let's let the senator answer.
Well, I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
Let's be constitutional. You got a constitution.
And yes, we can, because he reminds me of that guy in The Wizard of Oz, you know, when you pull back the curtain, it's a really small dude.
Okay.
And who can forget this golden moment when Tulsi Gabbard demolished Kamala and her rotten record?
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people.
Regarding that marijuana one, Tulsi Gabbard said 1,500. Today they're putting out news that it was only 45 people. I have to find out how to verify that. There's a way to find that out. And I have to get down to the bottom of that because I'm more inclined to believe that it was more than 45 people.
In prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
She's so likable, so relatable, so down with the kids.
And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Look, she really is down with the kids. She's out there on those streets, child.
Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam BP. I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom.
In a few minutes, I'm going to bring you footage of some truly deplorable souls, hateful far-left agitators who want to see their fellow Americans, including Donald Trump, dead. But before that, let's look at their preferred candidate. You know, one thing you can say about Kamala Harris is that despite her far-left belief system, she's willing to say just about anything to get ahead. 1 minute, she's the defund the police BLM bail money raiser, and the next she's presenting herself as...
Right, so like she said, Kamala is willing to say anything in order to get ahead.
As the tough prosecutor that criminals fear. But perhaps her biggest backflip in recent years is going from an open border radical who defended those who pay human traffickers to enter America illegally to, well, you'll see.
A mother who pays a coyote to transport her child through their country of origin, through the entire country of Mexico, facing unknown peril, to come here. Why would that mother do that? I will tell you. Because she has decided for that child to remain where they are is worse. But what does Donald Trump do? He says, go back to where you came from. That is not reflective of our America and our values, and it's got to end.
To be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Well, that transformation was from 2020 to 2021. Not bad, but she has some ways to go to beat President Biden's latest backflip. Watch what he said 10 days ago compared to his address to the nation earlier today.
What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running, and we're going to win. I'm not going to change.
He became so angry towards the end. He's so angry. And you know what that is? That's the dementia. There's something called agitation. I have family members, just like a lot of people, who suffered with dementia and Alzheimer's. And there are certain things that you can see and you'll notice right away what it is. That is agitation.
You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor.
Amazing how he gave this speech, and never once did he admit why he was conceding the campaign to Kamala Harris.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best.
Why? Is it because you're sick with dementia? Is it because they, behind closed doors, have forced you to step down? What is it? Come on, Joe, tell the truth.
Best way to unite our nation.
That's their idea of democracy, folks, invalidating 14 million votes and just installing a new candidate at the last minute. And what a candidate she is, a far-left ideologue who fans the flames of racial division, who raised bail money for BLM thugs, some of whom went on to commit more heinous crimes, including murder. And she wanted to reimagine public safety.
Let's talk about America's failure when it comes to understanding how you create safe communities. And by that I mean this. It is outdated, it is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
Listen to this nonsense.
What we have to do, and what we will do, is reimagine public safety.
Oh yes, Harris is a radically far left, openly speaking out against equality in favour of equity, you know, that word favoured by Marxists, where we don't strive for equality of opportunity, but try to manufacture equality of outcome, also known as communism.
Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the...
The truth of the matter is, it's not about giving some people more so that everybody can start off in the same place and therefore be able to end up in the same place. It's about taking from those that have more, divvying that up to all the others who don't have that much, making everyone equal, not equally prosperous, equally poor, so they can all arrive at the same outcome of poor. And then there would only be just a few wealthy people in the whole mix. That's communism.
Same place.
Here is President Trump talking about Kamala Harris. That is before she was installed as the presidential candidate. And he talks about her, the way she speaks and her obsession with buses.
She speaks in rhyme. And, it's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future.
Who does? Yeah, she tries to sound really deep. Now, here lately, she's going to sound better because she's paying attention to the teleprompters during her campaign. But one of the big problems that many of her employees who were constantly leaving and not wanting to work for her anymore while she's been vice president is because they go to the trouble to write these speeches and do all of this, and she just would ignore it. She would ignore it, and she would do what she wanted to do, and she would speak the things that she wanted to say the way she wanted to say it, and it would end up making her look like an idiot, like this right here.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? The bus has Wi-Fi and even USB outlets next to every seat. I mean, come on, imagine. You can charge your phone on your way home from work. That's good stuff.
She really does love buses, but the Democrats have selected a woman who has long been considered to have among the most far-left voting records in the Senate, something she was asked about a while back, and she struggled to give a coherent answer.
You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage, but
yeah. Well, actually,
it's not just a matter that someone said it. She is the most progressive, extreme leftist she was at that time because she was a senator. She was the most. And partly that's, it's got to come from the fact that, for one reason, she was raised in a Marxist household. Her father was a Marxist economist, Jamaican. He taught, he was a professor for many years at Stanford University. And her mother was also held to Marxist ideology.
Nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all.
Deer in the headlights there. Now, you know the Democrats love talking about unity and bring the country together as they fan the flames of racial divisions and defame half the country as extremists and try to throw their political opponents in jail. And that hate and vitriol, that spreads. Have a look at these hate-filled Americans calling them lefties losing. It seems an understatement.
Get off this overpass, you racist. Your kind is not allowed up here. You come up here all the time. No one stands with you, you racist. What are you gonna do with this video?
You are 100% evil. You are 100%. You are 100% terrorist traitors to this country, just like him. And God damn you to burn in hell down. You will burn in hell. I'm sorry that the guy was an inch off.
That's pretty much what political debate in America has become.
Wow! 300 guns you guys last night.
So Donald Trump was recently shot at one of his rallies. How do you feel about that?
I wish he would have gotten shot in the forehead.
Really?
Yeah.
Horrible thing to say.
I mean, he's basically like teaching our country like what communism is like, so.
She has no idea what she's talking about. It's the lefties that are the Marxists and the communists.
So you wish death upon someone?
Him, yeah, unfortunately. I hate to say that because I don't have hatred in my soul at all.
Obviously, You do have hatred in your soul.
Yeah, she has no hate in her soul except for like wanting Trump to be assassinated and condemning at least half the country. And she's not alone. These divorce from reality clowns are everywhere, and sadly, they do vote. Watch this woman who was aghast to learn that Trump supporters are doctors. She's shocked. She's shook.
I was watching interviews from what happened, and
anyway, so I think that's enough. Um, so yeah, so people are losing it, and it's not only us Americans that are noticing this. People in other countries are looking at how ridiculous things have become in America, and it's sad. And we are losing our standing and our reputation in the world. Now, that may seem like, so what, like it's no big deal, but that is a huge deal. And that's why we need our greatness back. America, we need our greatness back. We do. Because I can't remember who was it that referred to us as a beacon on a hill. We're to be an example. And it's supposed to be because of our government and our government system, and the fact that the people get to make decisions about who our leaders are. There are folks embedded within the left party, the Democratic Party, okay, that would have us to lose that ability. And they're tipping their hand if people would really pay attention. They're showing you who they are. Because if there is not a Democratic National Convention in August, and they just continue with this thing being handed to Kamala, and no one else gets to step up and throw their hat in the ring, then that means they have decided who your leader can be by giving you only one choice. And part of the way that they are carrying that out is all these monies that she's getting a hold of, and there is opinion that these things would not be legal as far as um, whatever that government organization that's over, presidential campaign funding. And that's why Donald Trump and his team have filed a complaint. So there's a lot of underhanded shadiness going on, and there's a movement afoot, and it's actually been, I'm learning, it's actually been going on for several decades. And there is a desire to move us towards basically America being no more. America will become unrecognizable if these people are allowed to get in office. So I hope you all are staying informed and staying engaged, and don't let anybody tell you what you ought to do. Don't let anybody scare you with you're like Joy Reid did, that you're going to be all by yourself. You're going to be looking weird over there in that other line, and all the gaslighting and everything that they try to use, especially with people who look like me, to try to keep you in a mindset of vote blue no matter who. For instance, do what you know is best, whatever that is, after you have stayed engaged and you have really taken the time to do a little digging and find out the truth. That's all I have for this video, and I will see you all next time. Take care.